Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. You guys, today I'm going to be building like this water restaurant. I have been seeing so many different types of summer builds on Instagram and on YouTube, and it is getting me into the summer vibes. So at first I had no idea even what I wanted to build. I was wanting to do something tropical, and then I was like, okay, well maybe I could do like this beach house. I could do maybe like a little restaurant, but I was thinking like a restaurant in some form because I don't do a lot of commercial lots like ever, and I wanted to do something. And then I thought about like carrier crates and how I don't really use them a lot, and how can I make that turn into something fun and I don't want to say fresh, but like fun, fresh, cool, whatever the case may be, whatever we want to call it. I decided to kind of make this really interesting looking building. Now, obviously it's gonna look strange. It looks like there's just like a bunch of crates that are stacked on top of each other, and that's kind of what it is. And I just used a lot of like the very like orangey blues and whites. And actually, I really love the way it turned out. I had so much fun building it. It was definitely a struggle because I was wondering, I was like, okay, I'm like, whether it be a house or whether it be a restaurant, I didn't know what I wanted until I started to get into like the building part of it. And then I decided finally that it is going to be a restaurant, but you could totally like ransack the place. You could ransack the place dry, and then you could even just make it like a house. So I kind of wanted it in those ways. You can totally do that too. There is a bunch of different floors. I think there's one floor that's like there's like a spa, and then there's another part where there's more like a restaurant, and then there's like a bar, a dance floor, I think is at like the very top. There's a helipad, and I thought like a helipad, it's shaped like a lily pad. So I thought that was kind of fun at first. I think at the end I made it black for the helipad, but I think at first I wanted it to be green. I didn't know what I wanted, but I knew I wanted something that looked like a lily pad. But for all of you who are new here, my name is Jamie. I'm also known as Simspiration here on YouTube, and I do a lot of builds as well. And if you guys are here with doing my I Recreate series, I am so thankful. Thank you guys so much. I am so happy and grateful that you guys love this series. It has become such a huge thing on my channel, and I didn't even think that it would be even remotely good. Like when I posted, I think my first episode of it didn't even do good for like the first like week, and then it actually took off. So I want to say thank you all so much. And if you guys are new here, I usually do a lot of speed builds, so I do a bunch of they're just random, they're all over the place, but I want to add in more speed builds here and there, just because I am focusing a lot on the Recreate series, and it is a lot of fun, do not get me wrong, but I usually thrive my best when I do my speed builds. So I wanted to do one. I don't know what I want to do next, so if you guys have any idea of what your girl can do next, let her know in the comments down below. There was someone though that I saw a comment, and I'm meaning to respond because I'm trying to think of how I could do it, but there was a bit of a challenge, and I'm curious to maybe do it. I don't know yet. I have to take a look. I'm not sure, but you guys, you know me, if you guys have been here for a hot minute, you know that I have such a hard time trying to talk about a build. Usually I tell you guys stories about what has happened over the past like week or two. Girl, there's so much that you have to catch up on. It is insane. I don't know how much I can disclose though, and usually you don't hear me saying that, but there's some weird things happening around at my work. But what I will tell you is first, I was telling this story to my family tonight, actually, when we were all having dinner, and I gave my boyfriend Alex, if you guys know, Alex and we've been together for 5 years. He's wonderful. He has his own YouTube channel. It's over on my like featured channels, I guess. It's at the bottom if you guys want to go find him there. I'm sometimes there when he does a live stream or whatever. But I actually so I got him, I don't know if you guys have seen those 3D puzzles, and it's like a wooden 3D puzzle. It's huge. It was so expensive. Like I I don't even know how much I actually spent on it afterwards, but I was like, this is way too much for a puzzle. This doesn't make any sense. And so obviously I bought it, duh. And I remember, I gave it to him, and I did it like as like a little basket, because for Valentine's Day, I was seeing a lot of people make like little baskets with like some drink, like some pops or whatever. He really likes Prime, so I put Prime in there. Yo, Prime, sponsor me, sponsor you, girl. So I put like Prime in there. I put like some mugs from like a show called VGHS. It's like a YouTube show, but it's actually really good. It's about like video gamers or whatever. It's really cool. And then I also put in like a bunch of jelly beans, right? And then at the end, I put like this really cool looking puzzle, because I was like, okay, that's like his main gift for Valentine's Day, right? Like that's what I want to do. So he's like looking through everything, and he's grateful. He's like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, that's cute. Thank you. And when he was looking through everything, I was like, okay, I know that he's looking through things. I know he's looking at everything, but he hasn't seen the puzzle yet. And the funny thing is that this puzzle in specifics, I saw him looking at this like a couple like weeks prior to Valentine's Day. And I actually, I was sitting behind him and I took like a video of it. Like I like zoomed up on the computer screen so I could figure out what one he wanted. And he's been looking for one for a really long time, and he loves puzzles. Like my mom even buys him like metal puzzles to kind of fidget around with, and then when he's done, he gives it back to my mom to try and do it, and we hear her at like 2 a.m. like clinking around like a puzzle. It's so funny. Anyway, so I get this for Alex, and he's excited. He brings it downstairs. He wants to play with it. Like he it's gonna take us forever. It was massive. It was so expensive, and I was just like, okay, this is something that he can do, and to like relax when he comes home. He's gonna enjoy it. Like I hope he does. Like So I was excited. So fast forward, as soon as I leave, he goes downstairs and he works on it for a little bit, and then he goes to bed. And so the next day rolls around, and he sees his dad, and his dad loves puzzles, you guys. He's the one that kind of got Alex into puzzles, and just like the way that those kind of things work. He I guess it kind of passed down from generation, you know what I'm saying? So he goes over to him and he's like, look, he's like, there's a puzzle downstairs. He's like, don't touch it. He's like, Jamie got that for me. He's like, if you're gonna do that with me, like, wait for me. Don't do it when I'm not there, right? And so he was like, no, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it when you're there. And so he, goes to work, and the next day he comes home, and a little bit of it has been done when he goes downstairs. And he was like, what the heck? So he runs back upstairs, and he's like, did you do this without me? And his dad was like, yeah. And then Alex goes, you're not supposed to do it without me. I told you that. And he goes, no, you didn't. You never told me that. And he was like, what are you talking about? Yes, I did. So he's like, if you're going to go back down, he's like, wait for me. He's like, don't do it when I'm not there. And he was like, okay. So then the next day he goes to work. He comes home again. He goes downstairs, and he sees that the puzzle has a little bit done to it. So he goes upstairs, and he goes to his dad, and he goes, did you touch it? Did you touch it? And he goes, yes, I did. And he was like, what, why? He's like, I told you not to touch it. And he goes, no, you didn't. And he's like, yes, I did. So the next day rolls around, right? And he goes downstairs. At this point, like, what the heck, right? So he goes downstairs, and the entire puzzle was finished. It was complete. And this thing was massive, you guys. It was huge. It was, I don't even understand. And that his dad just did it randomly just when he was done. And Alex goes downstairs, and it is completely done. His dad was down there working on it, and he's like, dude, he's just like, bro. And then he's like, what? I told you not to touch it. And he was like, no, you didn't. And he was like, oh my God. So needless to say, I need to get Alex a brand new puzzle, like a new 3D puzzle. I have no idea what to get him. And you know what? I feel bad. I feel so sorry, because I knew he was so excited to play with it, and I wanted to buy it for him because I was like, okay, he's gonna enjoy it. He's gonna like it. Like, this is what he was actually literally looking at. So I don't think he's gonna try and like tear it apart. He was kind of annoyed too. He like texted me, and he was like, hey, at this point I was at work. I had no idea what was going on, and he was like, hey, you know that puzzle you gave me? And I was like, yeah, the 3D one. And he goes, yeah, it's completed already. And I was like, oh, awesome. Like you finished it. You completed it. And he goes, yeah, there's a problem though. I'm not the one who completed it. I'm not the one who did it. And I was like, what? So you know what? The next time I get him any sort of puzzle, I hope it's after we move in together so that, you know, his dad doesn't steal it. Which is fine. I'm okay with them, like, obviously, like, doing it together. Do whatever you want. But, like, it's sad, though, because he really wanted to do it. He was so excited. And then his dad completely finished it. And I felt so bad for him. It was so sad. I felt so bad. So that was just like a little story that I wanted to tell you guys, just because I just felt so bad. I thought it was really funny, but sad at the same time. I really shouldn't have said it was funny, but it in a way it's kind of funny, but I felt really bad. You know what I'm saying? But then the other day, the weekend of, or the following weekend after that, I went to my mom's. And there's this like place that she works at, and there are a lot of older people that go there a lot, and they'll dance, and there's like a live band, and you know, it's really fun, right? And I go there and I get asked to do security because I used to be, I don't know why, I used to be a martial arts instructor. So since I'm used to be that, she's like, great, you can be security guard. And I was like, that is not, that is not a thing that should be together. But I mean, pop off, queen. I'm like, okay, sure, but why not? So, you know, she brings me over. And she's like, okay, you're going to work with, let's call him Dale and, you know what? Let's call him Chip and Dale. Because honestly, they act like Chip and Dale. And so Chip and Dale were there. And I go in and I meet them. And I met Chip. I didn't know Dale. But I met Dale. He was really cool. And so I'm like sitting there and I'm watching a lot of the older people like dance and just having a good time. And I'm just, you know, keeping out, making sure there's no one doing anything crazy, right? And so I've been getting approached by a lot of like older people because my mom is the manager. So they like come over and they start talking to me or whatever. And this old gentleman comes up to me and he's like, come on, let's go dance. And I go, I am flattered, but I can't shake at all. Nothing, maybe not. I saw you move. I can't move like you, you know? And he was like, oh, come on. And he grabbed my arm. You guys, he grabbed my arm and he grabbed me and dragged me onto the dance floor. And I'm looking at Chip and Dale like, help me. And they just started laughing. They didn't even help me. They just sat there and laughed and looked at me and they thought it was so funny. And I'm like, I was ready to go home, but I couldn't leave because this like 80-year-old man was like dancing, grooving with me. And I felt so bad if I left. So I had to sit there through the entire band and I had to sit there through the entire song dancing with this man. Oh my God, you guys, it was so bad. It was so crazy. And I regret doing that at all. I should have just stood my ground a little bit more, but I caved in. That's so bad though. Like I cave in all the time. If you guys, there's some stories that I had. I used to work at this old place and we had a lot of people coming in from different parts of the world to work with us, and they were so cool. They were super nice, but sometimes I'd have issues with the men because they would make really inappropriate comments. They'd try and talk to me in like certain ways, or they'd say things and we'd have to cut them off. And a lot of people were being sent home because of like inappropriate, you know, things that were happening to the other women as well. And I'm such a pushover. It's so bad. And I was working on by the lines, and I was like, I was just talking to them. And this guy, he's like, oh my gosh, you're gonna be my friend. He's like, I can get your number, and we can be friends. We can be best friends. You seem like a really nice person. We can be friends. And obviously, like, this is like my first week being there, and I'm like, oh yeah, sure, like totally. And that was it. Like I didn't want to be rude, right? That's my problem. I just don't want to be mean. And so I, you know, thought nothing of it. I kind of left, and then that was it. And so I start to like walk back to my car at the end of the day. It's a little darker out. I'm like the only one there because everyone else has gone home. And so I get to my car and I see him standing there waiting for me at my car. You guys, it was like 7 p.m. and usually there's buses that come pick them up, but I don't know how he knew what my car was. I guess like there was only like 5 cars in the parking lot. But why did he have to choose my car? Is it because it looked the most hip? I don't know. I'm not sure. I love my car though. It's a little sports car. It's very nice. It's very cute. But you know, he was like sitting there in front of her, and I was like, okay. I'm like, do I just keep walking? Do I walk back? Like, I don't know. Let's see. Like, obviously, if I was in a horror film, I'd be the first one to go. I was like, let's go see what happens. What's the noise? Like, so I like go over and I'm like, hi, like, are you okay? And he was like, oh, I want your number so we can be best friends. And this time I was the supervisor, and I honestly, at that point, I should have been like, look, you know, it's not professional for me. I'm your supervisor. You know, it shouldn't be like that. You know, I'm happy to work with you and talk with you on the lines. I can't take your number though, like, sorry. And that was the thing, and that's what I should have done. And but I didn't, obviously, because I was, one, kind of creeped out, but two, like, kind of caught off guard, because I was kind of like, he was leaning on my car. He was like trying to push for my number. He was trying to like talk to me and get closer to me, and it was really awkward. It was really scary, and I just like didn't know what to do, which was so weird, because like usually I'm pretty calm and collected, and I just had no idea. And eventually I actually like gave him my number, because he was like, I'm gonna text you right now to make sure that like I have it properly. And if I gave him the wrong number and he knew that something was wrong, I was nervous that he was gonna get mad. I don't know. But like, girlies, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I was just nervous. So I did it, and then I went home, and then I started crying because because like it happened, and I felt like I was in a corner and I didn't know what to do, and I felt bad, and like at the same time, like, that shouldn't have happened, and it was really scary because something could have gone wrong, and it was just a whole thing. So I'm such a pushover. So when but obviously the old man who like brought me onto the floor, he meant only good intentions, and I'm sure this guy also did, but it was really weird. Like, don't wait for me at my car, please. That's absolutely terrifying in itself. I'm like, don't do that, please. But you know, that's a whole thing. And then, you guys, at my work right now, there's a lot of uncertainty happening right now. I think that if I leave, and I'll let you guys know where I am, where I was working. I don't know if I would though. Actually, that's probably not a good thing to do. No, I'm not gonna do that. But there's a lot happening that everyone's very stressed out. There's a lot of things going on, and I might have an opportunity coming up soon. So I'm hoping that everything goes well. And you know, if I do move with Alex, that's my boyfriend of 5 years, and he lives a little further than me. He lives about 2 hours away. So if I can get there and live with him, maybe I'll do like a live stream, not a live stream, well, yes, a live stream, but maybe a vlog channel and show you guys the moving process. I'm not sure. Let me know. But my dad, he found a house, so he's buying another house again. So we literally just moved into this house, and now he bought another one. So there's a lot of crazy things happening. But you know, if you guys like this video, maybe please consider like, commenting, and subscribing for you guys to see more and hear more of my stories. And thank you all so much for the people who has subscribed recently. We are almost at 15,000. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Thank you all so freaking much. Thank you. And yeah, maybe please consider like, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you guys all later. Okay, bye guys.